Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Satchidananda Rupaya Vishvotpatyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. In 64th verse we saw Raga Dvesha Viyuktaistu Vishayanindriyashcharan Atma Vashye Vidhyayatma Prasadamadi Gacchati. And it said that when prasadam is only when we are free from guilt and vanity and expectations, etc., only then health is there, then only Nirankusha Trupti is there, when we take everything that comes into our life as the prasad of the Lord, and not that I have achieved it, that I have achieved it, and then one can attain peace and bliss. And then there is Nirankusha Trupti, Dukkha Nivritti. On one hand, all the dukkha, which is all relativity, effortlessly leaves you, and in its place, Nirankusha Tripti, uncaused happiness, uncaused bliss remains. Then this next verse talks about what happens when there is prasannata. Prasade sarva dukkhanam Hanirasyopajayate Prasannachetaso hyashu Buddhi paryavatishthate. Together. Prasade sarva dukkhanam Hanirasyopajayate Prasannachetaso hyashu Buddhi paryavatishthate. Jnaneshwari Maharaj says, and from serenity or from prasannata results cessation of all suffering. For in a person with a serene mind, wisdom becomes firmly set. Only in a quiet mind the wisdom sets. A wavering mind can never be decisive. Jnaneshwari Maharaj says in his commentary, Dekhai akhandita prasannata athi zetha chitta tetha rigane nahi samasta sansara dukkha jaisa amrutaचा निर्झरू प्रसवे जयाचा जठरू तया क्षुधे तृषेचा अडदरू कहीची नाही तैसे हृदय प्रसन्न होये तरी दुःख कैचे के आहे तेथ आपैसी बुद्धी राहे परमात्मरूपी जैसा निर्वातीचा दीपू सर्वथा नेडे कंपू तैसा स्थिर बुद्धी स्वस्वरूपू योगयुक्तू. He says that listen, Lord Krishna is pouring his knowledge into Arjuna. He says, listen, be attentive. When the mind remains serene without a break, all the sorrows of the world do not enter it. Serene means content. Serene means nothing to achieve, nothing to gain, nothing to lose. And that is only possible when our attention is on the Lord, when our attention is on the conscious principle. Then alone, that udasina avastha, where everything, you are in the midst of everything, and yet nothing is able to entrap you, entangle you. Even as hunger and thirst do not affect a person who has a spring of nectar in his belly, how can sorrow affect him whose mind is tranquil? If the prasannata, the bliss, the joy, the happiness, you have found the fountain of that happiness within, then why will you depend upon, if I eat food, I'll be happy. If I travel there, then I'll be happy. If I do this, then I'll be happy. If I do that, then I'll be happy. That is not the right. So here he says, how can sorrow affect him whose mind is tranquil? His understanding remains of itself absorbed in the Supreme Self. What is that understanding? That the intellect itself is soaked in the Supreme Self. Once you go into the water, you cannot come out wet. Once the intellect has merged into the Supreme Self, into the reality, it cannot come out unaffected. And once it is affected by the Supreme Reality, then it is a causeless understanding, a causeless bliss, a causeless knowledge. And that is what is giving such a person the steadiness, the joy, the continuous happiness, the Nirankusha Tripti that we are talking about in the previous verse. Just as a flame of lamp does not flicker in a windless place, so the wisdom of a yogi remains steady in the self, because your mind is not available to. Here example is limited, that there is no wind in the room, therefore the lamp is steady. In our case, we cannot stop the wind from coming. We cannot stop the day and night from coming and going. We cannot stop the hunger and thirst from coming and going. Comfort, discomfort, likes, dislikes, thoughts, they come by themselves, they go by themselves. So what do? We become udasin towards them. We become indifferent towards them. And when that indifference has come about, initially maybe you have brought that indifference by control of your senses and mind, but eventually tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam, when that indifference leads to that potent silence, and that silence is because now the mind is not interested in anything. It is only interested in the conscious principle. And once the mind is dipped into the conscious principle, or recognized or is attentive of the conscious principle and not the variety, then once established, then there is no coming back, meaning then there is no itch to gain bliss from that which comes and goes. Such a person is continuously absorbed in himself. This is the sign of a steady wisdom, man of steady wisdom. This is how sthirata is attained. Sthirata is not attained by reading books. Sthirata is not attained by interacting with the world. In spite of all that, we have to attain the sthirata, in spite of the interactions. And in this way, live a life wherein we have no comments and opinions to offer to anyone. Everything that happens in our life, it is the Lord's wish, and nothing, whatever is taking place in our life, we can do nothing about it. Accept these three and move on in your life. And in this way, anything that the world is throwing at us is only an opportunity. It should not become a source of misery for us. So, whether it is sukha, prasade sarva dukkhanam, hani rasyopajayate. So, prasad is that state of mind where the joys and sorrows, good or bad, does not make a dent on our mind. That is prasad. One thing is that whatever is coming, take it as prasad. We never say prasad is good or bad. We just take it as God's offering, and we take it. So everything that is coming in your life, where is the effect? Not just in the actions, here in the mind also. The attitude is that everything is prasad. And in this way, such a person who has cultivated such a mind, he has cultivated a prasad buddhi. Prasad buddhi, prasad chetasa, where no complaint, only acceptance. Acceptance without a complaint. And again, no comments, no opinion. Take it as the Lord's, and when prasad comes, if it is less sugar, more salt, no sugar, you accept it as prasad. No, you cannot do anything about it. So same thing here. We accept it as it is. And in this way, the result will be, when we take everything as a prasad, then the result will be that our buddhi will not get affected by the coming and goings of the thoughts of the world. How does buddhi get affected? By whatever is coming from the world, by making a decision. This is good, this is bad. By creating likes, by creating dislikes. Buddhi doesn't do that, because it is committed, it is oriented, it is in poise towards the Lord, and taking everything as prasad, as a prasad of the Lord. And in this way, the mana buddhi, chitta ahankar that we have, this is your inner equipment. It is not extroverted, it is all introverted now, and thus is not affected by anything out there in the world. And therefore, when we do our sadhana, we have to plan that are we are taking everything that happens in the sadhana as prasad buddhi, or are we doing it by way of willpower, by way of I have to do it. If I don't do it, what will God feel? God will not feel anything. It is your ego which has now got addicted to that time, to that space, to that mantra, to that God. Huh? God will not say anything. He is everywhere. Important is not what will God think. Important is what is your attitude. Is it an attitude of guilt? That's why you are doing it? Or is it the attitude that if Lord is the prasad buddhi? See, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We must not get disturbed by any circumstances that are created. And as a result, two things happen. What is that? Two things that happen. We live a guilt-free life. And the second, we have no vanity. That I have done this, I have done that, I have done this. No guilt of omissions and no praising yourself of commissions. Continuing. नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चाभावयतः शान्तिः अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्. Together. नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चाभावयतः शान्तिः अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्. Jnaneshwari Maharaj says, he who is not imbued with yoga has neither knowledge nor meditation. So yoga is important, yoga and jnana. Only jnana is not. Without preparing the mind, how can you enter into Gyan? Arjuna is not doing yoga, but he is very, very attentive. He is a dynamic person. He is not a lazy person. His understanding is happening while listening because he is very, very committed to the words of the Lord. Because he knows the person sitting in front of me, standing in front of me, he is an extraordinary person. He has heard that he is the Narayana himself. He knows that he is his cousin. He knows that he is Kunti's, what is he? Kunti's? Nephew. He knows he has killed so many great asuras. But he had forgotten all that. Now, he is available. And therefore, he is hanging on to every word of the Lord. And with that single pointedness, when people don't have single pointedness of mind, when they don't have focus, then they need to do yoga. Why? Because that opposite of single pointed mind is what? A dissipated mind, distracted mind, which is giving value to the multiplicity, relativity. So Arjuna's that battle is done because from childhood he has learned how to focus. And we have only learned how to do focus. We have learned to focus on small things, but now it's time to use that ability which, because of your focus, you have come to be where you are today in your life. But now that focus has to be applied to something higher. Don't become complacent. Don't take it for granted, now I achieved everything. No, there is something higher. If we are not experiencing the Nirankusha Tripti every moment, then there is something higher which we are missing at this moment. And therefore, because you are searching somewhere within your bosom, so you are attracted to such satsangs, that maybe here it will click, maybe there it will click. For the unmeditative, there is no peace. For the unpeaceful, whence happiness? Ashantasya kuta sukham. A one whose mind is continuously buffeted by the thoughts of the world. Where is Shanti for him? Such a person cannot even sleep at night properly. So, most paramount importance, take care of your mind. Take care of your mind. And if your mind is not becoming calm, then do some yoga, do some pranayama, do pratyahar, do japa sadhana, but with the right attitude so that you understand the process. That all these exercises, they must lead to silencing of the mind. Japa is for focusing on the mantra. And through that focus, again, a steady mind, a quiet mind, a calm, peaceful mind is achieved. Then that calm, fairly calm, peaceful mind is then applied on the higher knowledge. Because in that peaceful mind, when this knowledge is heard, it makes its home. In a distracted mind, this knowledge will also be just one part of that distraction. When there are too many thoughts, when the pot is already full, how can you add more water to it? If your mind is already full of thoughts of past, present, future, guilts, anxieties, likes, dislikes, now what can be poured? You come to we go to the class, we give lectures, but if it is not, it's already full. I know this, I know that, I know this, I know that about the world. No, we have to be empty before we come to the class. Satsang. Jnaneshwari Maharaj says, ये युक्तीची कडसणी नाही जयाच्या अंतःकरणी तो आकळीला जाण गुणी विषयादिकी. तया स्थिर बुद्धी पार्था काही नाही सर्वथा आणि स्थैर्याची आस्था तेही नुपजे. निश्चळत्वाची भावना जरी नव्हेची देखै मना तरी शांती केवी अर्जुना आपू होय. जेथ शांतीचा जिव्हाळा नाही तेथ सुख विसरोनी नरगे का कहीं. जैसा पापियाच्या ठाई मोक्षू नवसे. देखै अग्निमाजी घापती तिये बीजय जरी विरूढती तरी अशांता सुख प्राप्ती घडो शके. म्हणवनी अयुक्तपण मनाचे तेची सर्वस्व दुःखांचे या कारणे इंद्रियांचे दमन निके. He says, for surely caught in the net of sense objects, in whose mind the thought of yoga has not taken root. Yes, one meaning of yoga is union. Union of the Jivatma with the Paramatma. Correct? That is the meaning of yoga. But what have we taken yoga to be? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyaya, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. That union we have, instead of uniting with that Lord who is ever present, the ego says, no, I have to do something, and it creates these various steps. And a person gets distracted by these various steps only when the thought of union has not taken place in his mind. See? If the thought of union is there, then whatever is taking place, at this moment you are one with the divine then. While listening you are one with the divine. While talking you are in one with the divine. See? But when our attention is not on the union with the divine, Aham Brahmasmi, or the instruction Tattvamasi, you are that, then the effect of that is immediately the ego comes up and it says, I have to do something in order to unite. and the drama begins. The wisdom of such a person, O Partha, never becomes steady, because by only practicing yama, niyama, asana, prana, pratyahar, pranayam, pratyahar, the mind is not going to become sthira. Mind is not going to become steady. The moment you stop those practices, the mind is again goes haywire, goes into a havoc. See, mind is going to become calm and tranquil only when it's thinking of the union of the individual with the infinite. How both are essentially the same. How first come to the correct definition of the I, from Gaunatma to Mithyatma to Mukhyatma, and how this Mukhyatma is all that there is. Then there is no difference between Mukhyatma and Paramatma. And one penultimate step, there is no difference between the I whom you are considering. You talk about yourself as I. This I's true position is the Mukhyatma. It is not the Mithyatma, which is with reference to the body. It is not Gaunatma, which is with reference to the relations. Keep working on this. Keep working on this. The clutter in our mind is because of relations and possessions. When we withdraw from that, wean away from that, we come to the body, then the clutter in the mind is, I have to release the energy, I have to increase the energy, then I have to do yoga, then I have to be able to sit for so long because the yoga, they said it in the sutras. Then I have to do this japa, that japa, then I have to control my senses, then I have to control my mind. You create steps where there are no steps. Steps are, the various steps that we create are only in the relativity. And the tranquil, the peace, the Nirankusha Tripti is not a subject of relativity. It is you. How many different ways this topic is being communicated to you through Amrit Anubhav, through yesterday's class in the Mundaka Upanishad, now here through the lakshanas of a person with a steady wisdom. How can he attain peace, O Arjuna? As he has no abiding interest in peace, happiness does not flow to him even by a chance, because he has got no interest in union. If you have interest in sleep, you will go to sleep. If you have interest in hunger, then you will go to eat. If you have interest in satsang, then you will come attend here live or in Zoom. But interest has to be there, na? And what is happening to us? We are living in a feel-good world in our mind. That I light my lamp in the morning, I light my lamp in the evening, I do a little bit of chanting in the morning, I do a little bit of chanting in the evening, and I have paid my dues to the Lord. And in between, I go for some pilgrimage and I do some satsang and I think I am on a spiritual path. This is not way. This is not the way. The way is not from outside in. The way is within. You are the way to yourself. These words are only triggers. You are the answer to yourself. The wave is the answer to itself because it's essentially water. How much sadhana it can do to realize water? Usually, when we ask this question, the answer automatically comes no sadhana because it is already water. So is your case also. You are also Supreme Self at this very moment. Then why you are not realizing? Why we are not realizing it? Because our attention is not on the self. Our attention is not on the union, which is always. It has never. We have never become disunited by with our essential nature. Never. In spite of the panchakoshas, we have never got distanced. We have never forgotten our conscious self. We are always there. Now we have to find out. Naturally, the question will be: we have to find out where are we making the mistake. The mistake is we are not contemplating on this union. We are not contemplating on our essence. We are too busy with the paraphernalia. Kundalini marg, Kriya Yog marg, Japa marg, and this marg, and all that must be done, but with the attitude of union. Then it is helpful. If the seed, as he has no abiding interest in peace, happiness does not flow to him even by chance, as there can never be salvation for a sinner. आज कुछ ज़्यादा ही पानी निकल रहा है. I just put the medicine before. Maybe that's why. If seeds roasted in are to sprout, happiness will accrue to a man without peace. Means when if you take the seeds and roast them and then you put them in the soil, will they sprout into a plant? Not possible. Because it's already burnt. Exactly the same way, in that heat of contemplation of this union, of this realization that I am already that which I am seeking, the seeds, the desires, all the subconscious impressions are roasted. And they are not, and once they are roasted, they do not produce the offspring of desire. The subconscious are incapable of producing the desire. And if the desire is not there, no action. You become totally aloof from the two. Thus a mind undisciplined by yoga is the source of misery, and for this reason it is best to control the senses. Having told all this, the first part, where did we start this whole journey in the previous verses? From control of senses. And how did they say you should control your senses? By seeing. The best answer is, if you can't see that there is some power behind the senses, then stay away from the wrong environment where your senses get activated. Do some yoga, pranayam, pratyahar to control the senses. Do some kriya yoga to control the senses. And then come to abide. Ashantasya kuta sukham. See, when we have sense control and we are not, when we have sense control, we are not reacting to every stimuli that is coming from outside. Then such a mind, and one word is pratyahar, another word is samahit. It becomes sama. It comes into poise. And this condition of poise is a very, very important stage in our journey. Then when a mind is poised, it is not distracted, entangled, reactionary. Then such a mind is able to understand what is said. Only such a mind which is in poise is able to understand what is being said. And then once it has understood what is being said, then it applies it in its life and converts it into his own experience. So before the experience comes, you have to become convinced in understanding that what is being said is, to have that understanding, you have to be equanimous, you have to be sama. To be sama, you must have your senses under control. You should live a non-reactionary life. So apply. Excuse me. See, Shankaracharya says, it's not, we are doing Jnaneshwari, but Shankaracharya says that he who is Ashanta, because it says Ashantasya kuta sukham. So who is Ashanta? The one who always revolts outside. First person, he is Ashanta. Second person, he accepts externally the conditions that the life has put towards him, the creation is throwing towards him, but internally he is revolting. You know, it has happened to us many times, isn't it? Erostes. Huh? So first person is who revolts outside. Second one, externally he is accepts everything, but internally he is revolting. And the third person is that whatever is coming to him, he is accepting it joyfully, happily, without complaint. And only such people who are accepting everything in that positive attitude of joy and bliss, they can attain the Param Shanti. They can attain the Nirankusha Trupti. Understand this, and therefore the verse said, Nacha bhavayata shantihi ashantasya kuta sukham. So then what is sukham? Sukham is where that condition of the mind wherein the worldly things, the gila kachra and sukha kachra, the worldly things and beings are unable to make an impact on our mind. That is sukham. Sukham is not the feeling of goodiness. Sukham is not, I was hungry, I ate food, now my tummy is full, I am happy. This is not the sukham that we are looking for. This is temporary. This is temporary. Continuing. Indriyanam hi charatam Yanmano anuvidhiyate, yanmano anuvidhiyate, tadasya harati prajnam, vayurnavamivambhasi, together. Indriyanam hi charatam yanmano nuvidhiyate, tadasya harati prajnam vayurnavamivambhasi. See here, the question that is being asked is, what is that because of which one's mind does not completely withdraw from the world? What is that reason? What is that one thing? That means, remember the word we say samahita? Why it remains asamahita? Why it doesn't come into the poise? What is stopping it from coming into that equanimity, into that poise? And till it doesn't come into the equanimity, you cannot come to know the reality. That is a prerequisite. Samatvam yoga uchyate, isn't it? So why this understanding within us is not firm? The reason is being given. Indriyanam hi charatam yan manonu vidhiyate tadasya haratim prajnam vayurnavami vambhasi. So Jnaneshwari Maharaj says towards this that for the mind which yields to the wandering senses carries away his wisdom as a gale, a ship on waters. Where a gale winds come, they carry the ship away in some different direction rather than where it is wanting to go. The power is so strong of the waves. Same way that mind which is a slave of the senses. So what is the gale here? The senses. When the mind is carried away by the senses, for such a mind, the wisdom is not possible. Jnaneshwari Maharaj says, Indriye ze manati, te chize purusha kariti, te tarale chi na tarati, vishaya sindhu. जैसी नाव थड़िए टाकिता जरीवर पड़ी होय दुर्वाता तरी चुकला ही मागवता अपावो पावे तैसी प्राप्ते ही पुरुषे इंद्रिये लाळिली जरी कौतुके तरी आक्रमिला जाण दुःखे संसारिके. He says, persons who do what the senses desire do not at all cross the sea of worldly existence, just as a boat which is caught in a storm, when about to reach the shore, has to face a mishap which it had escaped till then. So, if an enlightened person indulges fondly in his senses, he is overcome by the miseries of worldly life. So, the fall is also possible. Remember the snake and the ladder. You reach 99. If you get 99, you are back out of the board. You have to start all over again. Same way, a person who's when the sense organs, seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, when they are extremely involved in their respective fields. I love what I see, I love what I hear, I love the birds chatter, I love the running water, I like to see the sunrise and the sunset, I like to smell nice fragrances. Immediately likes and dislikes will be found. Correct or not? And wherever the senses go, There alone our mind follows. Without the mind, how can we form a thought? So what has happened? Mind is following, has become a slave of the senses. Senses are not under our control. That is how they are made. Either they are interacting with the world outside, or they are interacting with the world inside in the dream. Isn't it? There also the world is there. There also we have senses. And this mind has become enslaved of the senses because he has become convinced that, what, I like this what I see, I don't like that what I see, I like what I hear here, I don't like what I hear that. And this way he is going. And even if he is not making a decision, he is running after wherever the senses are going. Such people don't know. They say, my mind is not under my control. Such people are so indecisive. Should I go to the satsang? No, but today is the IPL World Cup T20, But this is my regular class, I should go to the class. But then I will miss the finals. Finals will not come every day. They only come once a year. Satsang comes every Thursday. ऐसे होता है ना मन में. And where do you succumb? To the IPL. To the IPL. For such people, the Atma Anatma Vivek is impossible. Because they are living at a sensory level. When you are seeing, a Triputi is formed. When you are hearing, Triputi is formed. When you are speaking, Triputi is formed. When you are smelling, Triputi is formed. When Triputis are carried away by your senses or are dependent on the senses, you are not firm that the Triputi that I want to entertain in my mind is about what is truth and what is untruth, what is constant and what is changing. Our attention is not going there. Our attention is going, अच्छा क्या दिखने को दिख रहा है, अरे क्या क्या कोई कुछ बोल रहा है, अच्छा क्या देखा था तूने, क्या देखा था. Poke our nose everywhere. And in this way, the example of that boat is taken where you are almost reaching the shore and a big wave comes and takes you over and topples your boat and goes or changes the direction, and the boat goes in a different direction. Same way, a person who is, maybe he is studying sincerely, maybe he is very, very dedicated, but for some reason, you can see that around. For some reason, this we see in brahmacharis also, in our course also. For a whole year they have studied. 3 months before the course is completing, Vedanta course, after 1 year, 9 months, one brahmachari and one brahmacharini fall in love. And they eloped. Now he is president of Chinmay Mission in some city. Now what has happened? This is what has happened. That even if we have been studying, but the moment we entertain any sensory stimuli, that focus that we have cultivated by studying the scriptures, doing the sadhana, doing the japa, doing the practices, and you entertain something sensory, all that energy, all that focus goes in that direction and the sense, and suddenly there is a fall. And thus such a person then becomes extroverted. Now he is no more introverted. He became focused because of introvertedness. But he entertained one thought of extrovertedness, one sense stimuli, and loses the plot. Now in the 68th verse, the conclusion of, remember this thought began from verse 60, from 60 to 67, the synopsis of all the 7 verses, 8 verses, where various examples were given, various logic was given, and that is being concluded in this 68th verse. Tasmad yasya mahabaho, tasmad yasya mahabaho, निगृहीतानि सर्वशः, निगृहीतानि सर्वशः, इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः, इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः, तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता, तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. Together, तस्माद् यस्य महाबाहो निगृहीतानि सर्वशः, इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः, तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. Jnaneshwari Maharaj says, therefore, tasmad, the conclusion, O mighty Arjuna, of him whose senses are completely restrained, his wisdom is well set. He whose senses are completely under control, he is established. There is no way, but he will get established. Bhashya Jnaneshwari Maharaj says, Manaune apuli apanapeya zari indriye yeti aya tari adhika kahi dhananjaya sarthaka ase dekhai kurma jiya pari uvaila aveva pasari na tari ichhavashe avari आपणपेची तैसी इंद्रिये आपैती होती जयाचे मणितले करिती तयाची प्रज्ञा जाण स्थिती पातली असे आता आणिक एक गहन पूर्णाचे चिन्ह अर्जुना तुझ सांगैन परिसपा. He says, hence, therefore, O Arjuna, if the senses come under one's control, can there be anything more beneficial than that? Even as a tortoise spreads his limbs in joy and withdraws them when it so desires, so when a person's senses remain under his control and do whatever he wishes, know that his wisdom has attained steadiness. And I shall not describe to you the secret mark of a person who has attained fulfillment. So till now, control. And now Sthita Prajna Lakshana will begin from the 16th. These are all parts of the Sthita Prajna only. So we have to recognize that the path, the means, the scriptures, which paddhati to practice, everything has been, the circumstances, the people in our life, the gurus in our life, the teachers in our life, everything has been provided to us by the Lord. Don't ever doubt it. If you, did we meet because you planned? Did I meet my teacher or you met your teacher because you planned or it was brought about? Do you plan your next breath or it has come about? Do you plan your hunger or it comes about? Everything is planned perfectly by the Lord. So think about the Lord, and this is the first part. The Lord provides everything. He even provides the teacher who comes into our life. He provides the path, he provides the scriptures, everything he provides. And once the teacher has come into our life, how to negotiate. I am teaching, our teacher also taught us, that is the parampara. I am also teaching you. But how you are negotiating or navigating through the traffic of the words? Are you addicted to the words? Are you enjoying listening? Or are you remaining in the poise while listening? Where nothing new is being told. Same thing is told in the Upanishad also. Same thing is told in the Amrita Anubhav also. Same thing is told in Adhyatma Ramayana also. If you have listened from January till now, same topic is being coming again, different examples, different approaches. Somewhere the ignorance is denied, somewhere the para vidya, here it is Siddha Prajna Lakshan, but topic is the same. What is that? You are that which you are seeking. There the characters of so many, Jatayu is taken, Swayamprabha is taken, Sugriv is taken, Ravana is taken, but the topic is still the same. But through a story. Bali or Bali, Sugriva's brother. So everything is the same topic. But where is our mind? If it is addicted to the words, oh, that was wonderful satsang. Yes, you can say that because it touched you. But say that with a poise. Say that with a poise. Don't forget that words are only the means. Otherwise, we'll get carried away. If we don't listen, now I can't contemplate by myself. If we are addicted to the words, then I cannot meditate on my own. Then I can't contemplate on my own. Swamiji, in the class, everything is crystal clear. Afterwards, I lose the plot. Why? Senses are not under your control. You're enjoying what the senses are providing. The moment that grandchild comes and hugs you, you lose the poise. You lose the poise. No, do that also with poise. Immediately the topic should go. So the thought is, negotiation is happening. Am I loving the child or the self is meeting the self? Immediately you change the whole scenario for yourself. See? Because everything is Lord, all in one, one in all. Nothing is outside. Two waves coming together, is it coming to destroy or is it coming to embrace? Both are water only, no? So where's your attention? Is your attention on the consciousness because of which listening is taking place? Or is your attention on the words? Then your attention is on the ears. It's not on the essence. So in this way, all understanding about world, about religion is a matter of aparavidya. Is a topic of, comes under the purview of ignorance, relativity. It's not worth. But we are stuck. We are in this world. So you use the world to transcend into the self, to transcend the world. Like that pole vaulter. He uses the pole to reach a height, but then he gives up the pole. Same way, you Vaikhari Madhyama Pashyanti Para. You take the support of the world only to give up the world. You wake up in the morning to interact with the world only to give up the world and go into the embrace of the sleep, empty mind. If that is what is happening, why not remain ever in that poise, ever in that equanimity? Let the world come, let the world go. You don't lose the plot. So in this way was the time. हो गया time. आज के लिए हो गया. We'll read this verse and we'll conclude today. या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्या जागर्ति संयमी यस्यां जागर्ति भूतानि not जागृति जागर्ति जागर्ति हाँ जागृति है अच्छा जागृति यस्यां जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः So now the new topic begins and we'll look at it at our next class. आँख थोड़ा दर्द हो रहा है, too much हलचल चल रही है आँख में. Yesterday was okay. ओम पूर्णमदा पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांतिः. हरिः ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ओम. Sit quietly for a moment.